The Galaxy A55 5G is one of Samsung's mid-range phones for 2024 that anyone aside from the truly smartphone-obsessed could believe is one of Samsung's most expensive models. Sure, there are phones with better cameras and faster processors, but Samsung has nailed the swish look and feel of the Galaxy A55, and that matters to many people, myself included. But let's see what else is great about the A55 and also what's not so great. Galaxy A55 5G design and display. The Galaxy A55 5G is the first generation in Samsung's A5X series to drop all plastic from its build, featuring a new aluminum frame. This makes the A55 not only look, but also feel more like a Galaxy S24 S24 Plus, with the 3 protruding cameras from the back glass panel and flat sides that nicely curve at the edges. The A55 felt comfortable to hold, despite the fact that it is slightly larger than its predecessor, which measures at 6.23 times 3.02 x 0.32 in 158 x 76.7 x 8.2 millimeters. It is also heavier by around 10 grams, which is probably due to that new metal frame, as metal is denser, hence heavier than plastic. The Galaxy A55 5G comes in 4 colors: ice blue, lilac, navy, and lemon. The one we reviewed is the navy variant, which is this year's darkest hue you can pick with this Galaxy phone. Sadly, the glass back panel combined with the darker color means that fingerprints are always visible, especially in brighter spaces. That said, the frame has a nice polish to it and makes the phone look stylish. As you probably expect from Samsung, even its mid-range phones come with a very simple unboxing experience. There are no extra thingamajigs. This is what you get inside the Galaxy A55 5G box. The Galaxy A55 5G, a USB-C to USB-C cable. Documentation. SIM tool. There haven't been any major upgrades to the display this year. You still get a resolution of 2400 x 1080 pixels, HDR10 support, and similar brightness levels. The few differences include a slightly larger 6.6-inch screen versus 6.4 on the A54, and a variable refresh rate mode, which means the phone can go from 120 Hz to 60 Hz to preserve energy. Protecting the display is Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, which is supposed to be significantly more durable against scratches and drops compared to the Gorilla Glass 5 that came with the predecessor. Keep in mind that Samsung does not specify whether the back glass panel shares the same protection, though, so better slap a case before it is too late. All in all, the Galaxy A55 5G display is an utter joy to use no matter for what purpose. I had a blast watching YouTube videos and playing some mobile games. Even in bright conditions, such as a clear day with lots of sun, I was able to see what was on the screen easily, without straining my eyes. The only improvements we see here is with the color calibration. Samsung has not changed much else, but at least the A55 has more accurate colors compared to its predecessor. Unfortunately, some of the phone's other aspects, such as the fingerprint reader embedded in the display, are not as impressive. It takes too long for the sensor to recognize your finger, and a good second and a half passes before the phone unlocks. The good news is that it is at least accurate, and we didn't get any misreads during the review period. The other biometric option you can opt for is face recognition. If you turn on the lift to wake and turn off swipe to unlock, it becomes a bit quicker compared to the fingerprint reader, but not as secure, so you kind of have to pick your poison. Galaxy A55 5G camera. The camera hardware that comes with the Galaxy A55 5G is the same as the A54 5G, including the 50MP wide main snapper, a 12MP ultra wide, and a 5MP macro. We were really hoping to see a telephoto camera replace that macro shooter, but alas, Samsung has once again opted for this route instead. Keep in mind that even though the main camera is 50MP, the images that it takes are 2.5MP. That is because the phone uses pixel binning, which basically means creating larger pixels out of smaller ones. There is a 50MP mode if wish to use the full resolution of the main snapper, but note that you need lots of light to take photos in that mode. At a glance, you might guess the Samsung Galaxy A55 has cameras similar to the Galaxy S24 Plus. It does not. Most notably, there's no zoom camera. The third lens is a 5MP macro, more of a filler cam than something you'd find in a true top-end Samsung. You can record video at 4030 fps or 1080p 60 fps, and the good news is that the image quality looks amazing from the main camera, with very good stabilization at that. You also have the ability to swap between the main and the ultra-wide cameras while shooting at 4030 fps, although the transition is not one of the smoothest ones out there. Is there still more evidence of picture processing than in the very best phone cameras? Sure. Tiny bare tree branches often look as if they are outlined in white, which is a side effect of sharpening. And within both cameras seem to have good HDR performance, with enough details in the shadows and highlights, while still retaining good levels of contrast in the image. Of course, some more difficult scenarios such as the third and fourth photos in the slideshow above proved too difficult for the A55, but the truth is that most cameras would have trouble with a setting like that. We were very happy with the A55's main camera during low light conditions, with night shots being some of the best we have seen from a mid-range phone so far. The photos look realistic without being overly brightened, but the important parts that are lit by light sources are well visible, and colors look what you would expect to see with your own eyes. Galaxy A55 5G, performance and benchmarks. The Galaxy A55 5G comes with the new Exynos 1480 chipset built on the 4nm process. It builds upon the previous generation, the Exynos 1380 that came with the Galaxy A54 5G in every aspect. As you will see from the benchmark results we got during our tests, performance has increased across the board. Power efficiency has also improved, but more on that when we reach the battery section. I played a few League of Legends Wild Rift games, and I am happy to say that things ran smoothly, without any overheating issues, drops in the frame rate, or lag. The game automatically set the graphics settings at medium for the Galaxy A55 5G with a frame rate of 60 FPS. Opting for higher settings than medium prompted a warning that the device might overheat or force the GA.me to shut down, so you can get a general idea of the phone's capabilities based on that. Apart from the gaming experience, the A55 was smooth and fluid when I was navigating the UI and scrolling through social media and websites, which is something we cannot say for the more affordable A35. As for RAM, this year you get 8GB with the base model, which is a jump from last year's 6GB of RAM. Software. The Samsung Galaxy A55 runs Android 14 and has the same MIUI 6 interface as Samsung's higher-end phones. It does not try to pack too much into any one screen, a spread-out approach I find looks silly on its largest phones. But you can increase the number of app rows and columns on home screens and the app drawer if you like. Samsung arranges its interface a little differently to most though. The app library comes in horizontally arranged pages, not a vertical scroll. New to Samsung? It takes a little while to get accustomed to, but all moves by with the right kind of practiced poise. The Galaxy A55 is also, like other Samsungs, loaded with apps you may or may not actually want. These come predominantly from Microsoft and Samsung, and Google's usual suite of apps is here too. Galaxy A55 5G battery. The battery capacity remains at 5000 mAh with the Galaxy A55 5G. Despite that, as you would see from the results during our battery tests, the battery life has substantially increased over the predecessor. In my experience, the A55 lasted a whole day of gaming, video streaming, and browsing social media with about 6-7 hours of screen on time. Even after a day with such heavy usage, though, there was typically around 30-40 battery left. The charging speed has not changed since last year, which is 25W. You will see some slightly different results from our charging tests above, but overall the differences are insignificant. And yes, still no wireless charging with Samsung's A5X series. The Samsung Galaxy A55 also lacks wireless charging. However, I don't consider it a great loss considering Samsung was working with a limited budget here. And if we did get wireless charging, you can bet it would be of the slow kind. Galaxy A55 5G audio quality and haptics. With the A55, you get rich and clear sound with a maximum volume that is loud enough to overpower some noisier environments. I was able to enjoy both music and speech in podcasts and videos, and didn't necessarily reach for my headphones during my time with the phone. Unlike the Galaxy A35 5G, where we felt the audio was a bit muffled throughout the whole volume range, The audio quality coming out of the Galaxy A55e speakers was spectacular no matter how we pushed it. Should you buy it? This year, Samsung has kept things simple and minimal with the A55 5G, with the only meaningful upgrade being the new Exynos 1480 chipset, which is not even that much more powerful than the previous generation. There is also the tweaked design, dropping plastic altogether and adding a metal frame that makes the phone feel more high-end. For more informative videos, please subscribe Info of Tech.